Okay, right, yes, okay, Jim, and perhaps I should also add good morning as well to listeners. I know there are many out there, Jim, they don't all let us know about it, but in the travels and briefings I get feedback about, I know people do take a listen now and again and keep in touch that way. And of course, for the listeners and everyone out there, you can actually visit the www.amsat.org website or the www.uk.amsat.org website. Keep up with news and also get pastimes and other information as well on amateur satellites. And of course, as Jim might like to add later on, our gathering again, which has been moved later this year down in Guildford there, which was mentioned earlier. Okay, well, the interesting news is in terms of amateur satellites, a lot of news about CubeSats, many CubeSat launches going on, but with the current satellites at the moment, first of all, with thanks again once to Clive to confirming the UOSat-2 or UO-11 as it's called at times, has actually been active very strong indeed, and it will be due to go off Wednesday according to Clive's cycle and calculations there. So it is back on at the moment and was quite healthy when I heard it, but do not expect to hear it on the later passes due to the eclipse in this part of the world. It may not be active on those later passes. And the other good news that came in this morning was that a release from about SO67, that's the South African satellite, Sumbandilo, which has had a few problems on board. It seems that the team over there have been working hard. It is not actually dead. It is actually been hopefully revived. And with good luck, maybe we will see some activity again on the amateur bands, maybe at the end of February, March. So SO67, look forward to that, and I'm sure the FM groups will probably be happy about that one as well. Okay, RS-39, which was the launch there, or Shiblis, or Shiblism, or whichever it's called, but RS-39 in terms of the KEPS, has been added to the KEPS list, and it's a data satellite there transmitting CW information on the status on board. It is active, and it has been added to the KEPS, if you go to the KEPS at all these days. AMSAT have also in their bulletin pruned out a few of the other satellites where the KEPS have not been kept up to date. For some reason, though, however, ARISAT 1 is still listed. I still don't know why. I've asked that question. But RS-39 is becoming more social as well. There's a pass of about elevation 39 degrees at 21:53 this evening. 21:53 at a 12-degree elevation, apologies. And again, at 23:30, an elevation of 41 degrees. So it's moving into more social hours at the moment if you want to follow that CW data. And you can follow up from the web pages I've mentioned on the way to decode and use the CW information. Okay, well, there we go. That's the main satellites there. All the other satellites, FO29, your favorite, Jim, is still quite healthy. And AO7, it's active today on mode B. It was active this morning. I've got pastimes if anybody would like me to update any of those satellites for the pastimes for today. But AO7, FO29, and SO50 are still there. And of course, good old VO52 SFB as well. All right, well, let's move on now. And I mentioned earlier on the news there that Martin had stated, and I don't think I need to repeat that, but congratulations in terms of the award to SSTL for the navigation payloads for the new satellites. Commercially, there seems to have been an Iran satellite launched there, which there's mentions about Echo India Mike 0 Sanaf Sierra Alpha November Alpha Foxtrot. It's a low orbit satellite launched on the 3rd of February from Iran, so something new there. It seems that Chile has got some intentions of launch as well. And I'm sad to say that the Dragon, the SpaceX project at the moment, has been deferred again in launches. That has been delayed until March. So the SpaceX has run into some problems on, I think it was one of the third runs with some software trials. So SpaceX launches have been deferred at the moment. But hopefully, looking ahead, we've got the Vega launch where we've got 7 CubeSats on board. And I've got all the information on those if you want it, but you can, again, as I mentioned earlier, get that from the websites. But I will give the information, Jim, to anybody, or read it out if you want it. Quickly give you the names and the frequencies to look for that. The launch date for that, anyway, is the 13th of this month. That's the Vega launch on the 13th, and quite a number of satellites to look forward to from the point of view of interest. And there were 1 or 2 there with the up and down links as well, so news on that as well. It looks like the USC ANES 3U cube has been delivered safely for a launch date unknown at the moment. And also, there looks like a launch in February of another satellite, CubeSat, called HORYU-2, or HORYU-2, sometime in February. But I can't get confirmation on that, and I think maybe we need to look further into that one to see what it's all about. But you can take some readings as well. If anyone actually looks on the web, there is a magazine called SAT Magazine. That's Satellite Magazine. Have a look at that. It's free to download. You'll get news on that and other space news as well. Space News Today will give you as well. Sad to say regarding AMSAT NA, and it was looking for payloads awards with NASA. They were expecting last Monday to get a confirmation on that, so something has happened, but no news about the AMSAT NA, and NASA used for payloads of 1 or 2 of its satellites intended as well. That's about as much as I've got in brief at the moment. I could go on and on and on, but don't want to drag it out. But just a bit of information for anyone, of course, as I mentioned when I called in there are people who are interested in space in general. The big satellites over in Chile there, the big group of satellites the telescope put together has been activated now over in Chile. So that big group of satellites is really on the go again. And there should be interesting pictures as well. I know Hubble is still sending pictures and we're sending other, but this new group of satellites out in Chile there, a fantastic project, is likely to reveal, with hopefully, it's called the VLT, Very Large Telescope. 4 of them activated at this moment. We should get some really interesting pictures and, of course, data coming back from those in the future. Okay, well, finally, just it seems that Sudan as well are going to add to our list of CubeSats as well. They've got Kilo November Sat-1, KN Sat-1 project looking ahead as well. And Jim, I'm pleased to say, according to Trevor there, that the UK Cube 1 information has been also put out on the magazine called Register List. It's a register.co.uk. You will see news about the UK Cube 1. And of course, hopefully we'll get news on our own Sun Cube as well, Jim. Okay, that's it. Back to you, Jim, and I trust that everyone's copied very well at the moment. G3WGM and the AMSAT net, GW1FKY.
Yeah, very good, Ken. GW1FKY and the AMSAT net from G3WGM. That's fine, Ken. All copied and generally noted. I was intrigued to note that I had missed that one that Iran has launched an orbiter. That's quite interesting. I should say a little bit, you prompt me to say a little bit about the colloquium, and that's normally held in July, but this year we've had to, we decided, we didn't have to, but we decided to delay it a couple of months until September, I can't quite remember the dates. It's the middle of September. The dates are on the AMSAT UK website, and will be held in September at same place in Guildford at the Holiday Inn Hotel at Guildford. And we had to delay it because of the Olympics. The feeling was that the accommodation would just be too expensive at that time. I'm just trying to rack my brains and see if there's much FunCube news. I don't think there is really. We've got the launch booked for September, which we're looking to do. We're going to have a quite a big effort on the software, having changed some of the hardware a little bit. The latest I heard from our contractor in Delft, a company called ISIS, was that the solar panels are coming on. The top and the bottom one, the plus and minus Z ones are now completed, and so they'll be working on the other 4 panels. We had to rejig them, not rejig them, but we had a long debate as to whether we should have telemetry coming from them, and we particularly wanted to get enough telemetry to measure the spin of the satellite, because that's about the only telemetry that changes quite quickly, and for various reasons which I won't go into over the air, we found that we couldn't, but we're now having some little photodiodes put on each of the solar panels so that we can tell, and the readings from those will be part of the telemetry stream. So that'll be quite interesting, and I think a good project for schools to do is to plot that the rotation, which is actually very similar to what they did with Year 11. Clive, if you're listening, you'll be interested in this. We are now in contact with the Salters and Horners. I can never remember if it's Salters and Horners or Horners and Salters. The people who run the or an A-level syllabus out of the University of York, and we are in contact with them and are proposing to have a bit of a inclusion in that, which is good, because they still quote, believe it or not, USAT 2 as the sort of the one they use as an example satellite, and when we looked at the actual book, they still have photographs of that, so we're hopefully going to update that. We will be attending I might have mentioned this last week, but we are planning to attend on the 14th of June the I think it's called the Institute of Physics day they have at Rugby School, and it's only a day long on the 14th. I think it's the 14th of June, and it's mainly a teachers thing, and they have about 350 science. I think it's mainly physics teachers actually, so we'll be trying to get them interested in FunCube, which hopefully will go down quite well. And I think the last thing to mention on FunCube is that we have started fairly gently some fundraising, some launch fundraising activities. And if you go onto the website now, you'll see there's a little PayPal widget which people can donate via PayPal. There is a note on the top of it, however, to say, well, if you're a UK taxpayer, then please go to the Virgin Giving site, where courtesy of the Radio Communications Foundation, they're collecting the money for us, and in which case any donations made on that website can be, we get the tax advantage of it. I think we get an extra 25% for people who tick the right box if they're a UK taxpayer. And so far, I think on the widget, we've had about £300 donated, and on the Virgin Money Giving website, we've had about £600 or £700 donated. So that's £1,000 towards it, which is really good news. There is a link from the AMSAT website to the Virgin Money Giving website, and the AMSAT UK website is www.uk.amsat.org. And the widget's on the front page to the right-hand side. Takes a little while to load, actually. But just wait a couple of seconds and it should appear, and there's a link just above that to the Virgin Giving website. Having said all that, I've been reviewing the membership subscriptions coming in, and people are extremely generous by donating more than the minimum donation, and all the extra bits will go into our satellite building fund, which is really useful and extremely